to episode 7 of How Are You Getting On. I'm of course joined by Mr. IrishGenesis, and our special guest today, who is currently hidden on camera, is
am I?
You are hidden, Jamie.
What's wrong with that? Sorry. Go ahead. Sorry.
JamieJayCar. Jamie, how are you doing?
Just in from work. I got a new job. Sorry.
You got a new job?
Yeah. Sorry. Let me wipe that dust off the camera there. Hold on. There we go.
Oh my god. So.
What's wrong?
So you've got a job as a traffic cone, is it?
Traffic cone. Yeah, it's good to be back on the road again. You know, I was unemployed there for a while, so I'm glad I'm on the right path now. You know.
Yeah, it's like
where did you even get that? What am I seeing? Where have you even gotten
job,
that?
man? I got a new job, road safety authority. It's a serious fucking job, and I'd like some respect for what I've done. It's not hard. It's not easy standing there all day in the fucking cold, man. And a car crashed into me earlier and all. Fucking joke. And I get laughed at when I come on here to help you out on your podcast. This is scandalous.
I'm sorry. All right. right. Okay, listen. Okay, Jenny, how are you getting on?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm doing very good. So yeah, today's episode we have on Mr. JamieJayCar, content extraordinaire. Jamie, I feel like there was no better person to bring on to this podcast to chat about content creation. You're an absolute staple in the scene.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like I'm the Elon Musk of Twitch. You know, I'm breaking new boundaries with my average viewers of 28. It's unbelievable stuff that I'm doing over here on twitch.tv/JamieJayCar. So I feel like it's only right that I'm on.
Oh my god.
Oh, no.
How long can we keep going? That's the question. Where's he gone? Jamie, you there?
You see me?
Yeah.
I don't know. Was it? What happened?
You look like you're out of it, man. Okay.
Sorry, it's a long day, man. Standing up all day out there, it's not easy. You know, people beeping at me and shit like that. It's not an easy job, and it's minimum wage as well. But Twitch isn't paying enough at the moment because I'm not consistent enough at all. You know, so it's terrible.
Oh my god.
It is what it is. Sorry that I didn't have a chance to get changed out of the
Listen, it's no problem at all. I appreciate you rubbing the dirt off the camera as well at the beginning. Because we obviously would love to see you. Yeah, no, we would.
I mean, Rabbit was at the camera earlier. His grey hairs. I think one of them got on it there.
Yeah, what's the rabbit's name?
Derek.
Okay.
I can't, man.
I'm gonna get sick. Right, but listen, Jamie. This is what I love. This is what I love about you, though, man. You're absolute character, and you bring it every time. I absolutely love that about you. You're an absolute gent. So yeah, listen. You've been in the realm of the content creation scene for a long time. I mean, even from an early age, you had a big influence. Where did it all start for you?
It actually started somewhere that I wish it didn't, and that I regret to this day. A lot like most of my content, to be honest.
Okay. Jesus Christ! Completely ripping yourself here, man. Give yourself a break for 2 minutes. Take off the cone. Give yourself a break for a minute.
No, I'm actually being serious. I'm being honest. I'm actually being serious. So I did I shouldn't even mention it because I know they're all going to meme me to bits. I made a rap song called One-Legged Rapper when I was like 20 or something like that, 19, 20, I don't know. I like to say like 18, but I think I was probably like 21. And it was meant to be a satirical. I thought people would know it was a joke. So the lyrics in the song was all about being a one-legged rapper. And I went crazy. So we made a little music video. I went to a studio and recorded the song. The lyrics were absolutely shy. The video was shy, but it was all satirical shy. And I ended up like emailing a load of people, like the Sun and all the papers and stuff. And a few of them got back onto me, and articles like, so then I got interviews happening where it was like the Sun would ring me or something. I don't know which one it was, and they were saying like, who do you aspire to be as big as? Because they didn't realize that the video was satirical on YouTube.
Yeah.
And I was saying like, I hope to be like as big as Miley Cyrus, and they printed up a big article saying one-legged rapper.
Oh my
One-legged rapper
God.
aims to be bigger than Miley Cyrus, and it was on like the fourth page of the paper. And
Okay,
That's ridiculous.
Jamie, surely you're going to give us a little rendition of this song.
Oh yeah, come on, you have
God.
something. Come on.
Okay, maybe at the end when I have a little bit more of this €4.
Yeah.
What a deal, by the way! €4 for a bottle of rosé out of Tesco. Everybody, if you're looking for
That's-
for
yeah,
a deal.
it is a good deal. I'm gonna throw this actually back. I think that's a very interesting story, Jamie, from starting with the whole kind of one-legged rapper role. But Jenny, I know you have a background in rapping as well. I've seen you throw down on stream, and you're absolutely lethal.
Bro. I thought, like, to myself, when I was younger, hopped up on all the drugs and all, and I thought to myself, I got to get famous because I can put bars together, So with all the drinking drugs, sure, I started, just firing out rhymes, and people were like, you're not bad, like, you need to lose the American accent and all, first of all, and all, because I used to, like, wake up in the morning. This is back in the school days. I'd wake up in the morning, and from morning to night, I'd have headphones on, even in school, and all I'd listen to back then was Eminem, like, non-stop. So when you have that in your ear all day, when you think of rap, the first thing you do is like, the American accent came out and all, and you sound. I actually look back now and I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, same.
I'm like, how did my missus actually want to sleep with me?
The thing is though, rapping in Ireland, I completely get where you're coming from. I feel like it's so easy to drop into that American role. Jamie, with your rap, I remember hearing this before. If I'm right in saying this, Jamie, you didn't really go with the American approach, did you?
No, I kept it North Dublin. I think that's what made it worse, because I just looked like a one-legged sham from Finglas talking shy. All my mates didn't want to be friends with me anymore.
Man, Jesus Christ! So
they were all getting into mad shit, like gangster shit. And one of their friends like puts a video on YouTube. Oh man, it's horrendous. I deleted the video though, but I know a few people have it in their hard drives, the little sickos, and I'll find you and
I definitely need to hear this, because
I do.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I at the end of the day, like, you look back, you're like, Jesus Christ, what was I doing back then? But
so ashamed.
It was the enjoyment of doing it at the time, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you can't say you never give it a shot. You never just threw it out there to see what happens. Like it's with anything really, isn't it? When you throw something out there, you don't know really what to expect or what's gonna come from it, in a sense.
Yeah.
And regardless, like, at the end of the day, it's great to be able to sit here, like, as we're getting older, and it's just like, was good crack. Like, I enjoyed that.
Yeah, no, you got to look back at it and be positive. I know, Jamie, you've been very kind of judging yourself and what happened, but it's always.
I don't like myself.
No, Jay, you should like yourself. Jesus Christ. But like, as a start, that's very interesting. So, are you telling me, Jamie, that was like literally the start of the road? You had nothing else going. It was literally, that was your first ever project that kind of got you out there. Did you do anything before that? Like, I know you have experience in the likes of comedy and media and stuff. Was that like your first proper exposure?
No. I people always called me funny, and I'm not, but people used to always call me funny. And my first experience was in the play when I was 6, and I was one of the people who opened the door. Do you know, one of the when Mary and Joseph are knocking to find somewhere to stay?
You opened the door.
A concierge type job.
There's a scene in the Nativity where Mary,
you're one of the wise men.
No, Mary. I was just like a tenant where Mary and Joseph are knocking, but nobody will let them stay in their gaff for the night.
Oh, why were they called again?
Oh, so you're one of the people that like rejected them. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, because they're waiting on Jesus. But the lion was, and I can still remember it
And
because
now you want to know why you get haunted when you go to these fucking Halloween things, you fucking cunt. You rejected Jesus and you accept the devil into your life, you know?
Mysterious Malteser get the innkeeper, but the lion was right. And this is probably what like made me want to do. I used to want to be a stand-up comedian for years, but
Yeah.
I don't have the balls. It's too nerve-wracking. But anyway, the line was, "We've no room in the inn. Go away!" And you slammed the door. But my sister told me for the laugh. Now she was fucking 19 at this stage or whatever. Like she said, when you're saying your line, say, "We've no room in the bleeding inn. Go away." So I opened the door and said, "We've no room in the bleeding inn. Go away!" And I slammed it, and the whole bleeding hall started laughing. And I think from that moment, I kind of have a little bit of a hard on for having the crack, you know.
Yeah.
But then, how far do we want to go back? Because there's so many different.
Well, no, this is what I'm saying.
Right.
You have a vast career, and I know we're only barely scratching the surface with you now. But yeah, like just in terms of. Obviously, that's such a good story. I love that, and fair play as well for you, you know, coming up, saying that, especially on the spot and the play and all that. But
yeah, in fairness, it was my sister's.
yeah, but it was actually it's a great idea. It's a great idea. But yes, you were saying so. You wrote this rap, and I know as well you've had a lot of experience doing sketches and doing like you were saying there, a bit of comedy. I know you're saying you're afraid of stand up and all that, but it's definitely been where you've kind of got to today. It's kind of where you are at with comedy and your kind of mindset with it.
So I was in college and I was studying media production and filmmaking in Coolock in Coláiste Dúlaigh. I have a degree in media and film, and they said to us like it was like a what you call it, I can't even remember anymore. Jeez, I'm getting an assignment, and the assignment was to make any 3 to 4 minute like short film, comedy, sketch, video, like horror, any genre you wanted, and come back to us. And I always like to I always like to do things the easiest way possible. So I was like, come on, we just do a comedy sketch where we go around Coolock, like a bit like Nationwide. I don't know if anybody here has seen Nationwide in the chat or whatever. It's an Irish show where it's the most boring show ever, and they just stand there at a church and they're like, "Howya, we're here at the Church of Tullamore. Look at it there. Isn't it fucking great?" And then they turn back the camera and there's an interview with the fucking priest in the church.
Yeah.
So I kind of wanted to make a satire comedy sketch of Nationwide, but in Coolock, with presenters that didn't want to be there because the people that present Nationwide fucking hate their lives, right? So what we did was we just went around places in Coolock, and this was before Darren Conway, who has had great success now. Before he was kind of to the extent that he is, I asked him to take part in it, and like we just came up with everything on the fly. Like, so we were young and fucking silly, and the humor was, you know, just typical young lad banter. So the names of the presenters were, I was Mike Hunt. You know, typical kind of Twitch troll
name.
message.
Yeah.
And his character's name was Peter Foyle. Make what you want from that. And we just we made it all up on the go, really. And we went around places in Coolock, and I showed it in college, and I just thought it was just, you know, I thought it was something that, you know, the tutor would go, "Ah, Jamie, you could have, like, you know," because they used to always say that I was underachieving, the bastard. But he played it in class, and I thought everyone was kind of going to go, "Oh, geez, they're taking the piss out of the assignment," because everybody played the video that they made.
Yeah.
And the whole class just like erupted, and the tutor was like crying, laughing at the places we were going to in Coolock. So I ended up uploading it to the Facebook page that I used to use, The Buzz with JamieJayCar. I don't really use that anymore, so don't even bother trying to follow it because there's nothing on there. But I uploaded it to that, and at the time, like Facebook was like really good for uploading content. I know like TikTok is really good now, and YouTube is good, but it's hard to get the views. But it went absolutely viral. Like I mean, mental viral in Dublin. Like
Yeah, yeah.
everybody seeing it. There was like 6,000 comments and so many likes and shares, and I was just like, what the fuck? And then people were asking for me to go around other areas and stuff like that and do a similar videos. So we ended up doing a few of them, and they just went massive. And like real comedians were messaging me and saying, "This is gold. Keep doing it, all this stuff." And
Mm.
it kind of spiraled from there with that viral video that went mental. I had made YouTube videos before that and stuff, but none of them really took off the way that did. And I started getting asked to like host events and be a special guest, and all this mad
Yeah,
stuff
yeah.
started to happen. And I think I just caught the bug for it then, you know. So yeah, that was really it.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
get a taste of fame as well on that kind of subject is crazy. Like you're talking about a college assignment that you know that you did essentially, and to put it out online, and that's kind of how I know you. I don't think I've ever told you, but I didn't realize that was you until I met you. As in, I seen these videos and I was like, oh, like that's gas, and like I'd scroll by or whatever. And it's only years later when obviously you told me about this, I was like, oh my god, yeah, that actually was you. That was you doing that stuff. Jenny, did you come across those videos as well?
Yeah, when I first found Jamie, it was I was living down in Arklow at the time, and I remember one of the boys. I actually remember that fucking night as well. We were sitting on the South Key Beach cars, and one of the boys was like, "Oh lads, there's some fella on Facebook. Have you seen him? He's a funny cunt." We were like, "No, I haven't seen it." So they were passing around. And back then, Facebook was booming. Like that was the where you were supposed to be at the time.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
and we watched this video, and it was Jamie on the street, and he was just interviewing, kind of taking a mick out of people at the same time. So we found this great, and we were like, "This is brilliant!" Like, you know what I mean? Like you don't really get to see this much, especially from an Irish person
Yeah,
himself. Like,
yeah.
and that was back before I even thought about content creation, all that jazz. Like, so I wouldn't even known he was like a content creator, like back then. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
I
It's
just
one.
knew him I just thought he was some fucking crazy fucker going onto the street. You know?
Yeah, it's true though, because that was before like content creation was a thing. Like it's what I'm saying. Like Jamie is like as defined as it comes in terms of a content creator, and as I said earlier, man, there's no better person to bring on to talk about content creation in general, man. I mean, you've done it all, and not only that, but you have the portfolio as well to back it up. You know, you talk about there with stand-up comedy. I feel like with you, Jamie, you would be unreal at stand-up comedy. I feel like your punchiness with your comedy and how you bring it out there. And I mean, like right now, for anybody, I know if you're listening on Spotify, I apologize. You need to come over to the YouTube, but he's literally wearing a traffic cone on his head right now. Have you ever
Just
thought?
wanted to take the interview serious, you know. That's
Yeah, no, I appreciate that, man. I do. Yeah, very serious indeed. Have you ever thought about going into stand-up though? Because I know a lot of your peers and all that are into it, and I just feel like it's something you'd be really successful in.
So I don't really say this a lot, and I wasn't planning on saying it. I suffer with anxiety disorder, so I used to suffer really badly with panic attacks.
Yeah.
And you know, they fucking, for anyone in the chat or any of you guys, that if you ever like, it sounds trivial when people say that, but if you ever actually had a panic attack, they're like I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's very similar to our well, what they say. Well, I've never experienced a heart attack, but it's very similar to like a heart attack. It's like it's your chest encloses, you get the sweats, you don't think straight at that time.
Yeah.
In a sense,
You feel like
it
you're
is.
going
It's
crazy.
it's very scary. It is. It is.
So I think I tried stand-up comedy 2 or 3 times, and like I don't suffer with panic attacks anymore in the last 7-8 years, thank God.
Good, yeah.
Which is great, and it when you're in it, you think you're never going to get over it, but you do get over it. If anybody in the chat is suffering with that, there is people that do end up stop having panic attacks and stuff. But anyway, stand-up comedy for me is so intense that like I tried 2 or 3 of them and I got an okay reaction, but it was the build up the whole day of waiting to go on stage would just shatter me by the time it was 10, half 10 in some pub in Dublin. But I'm getting better with that now as I get older, thank God. So it is something that I'm considering, and not to shamelessly plug the podcast that I'm doing, the One Leg One Eye podcast on Spotify and YouTube. But the monthly challenge this month with me and Richie is to do 5 minutes, a 5-minute stand-up comedy set, with a live audience in Dublin, and record it each, and the audience will get to pick who they think was better, me or Richie. So I will be actually trying it again. I hope I don't fish it. I hope I don't fish it, but I probably will. So that should be good. So yeah, I will be trying it again. And you know, if I enjoy it when I try out a little 5-minute set that I'm gonna do, it'll be something I'll consider for the future. But it's not really a long-term goal. Like, being a stand-up comic takes so much, like, to be a successful one. It's the same with everything. Like, to be a successful Twitch streamer, you have to be fucking streaming consistently all the time, coming up with innovative, creative ideas. And it's the same with stand-up comedy, except with stand-up comedy, you have to be traveling every fucking night all around Ireland for a couple of years before you even get recognized in the big, you know, close circle. Unless you're extremely lucky and you're off the wall funny, like that nobody's ever seen in years, then you'll skip that part. But to be a successful stand-up comedian, you really have to be out every night grinding, doing 2 or 3 pubs and stuff. I'm friends with comedians who do 2 or 3 pubs a night, and they're out 6 nights a week, skipping over from pub to pub in Dublin. That's only in Dublin. And then when they go to London, they're doing 5 a night. It's 5 little 10-minute sets, 20-minute sets. It's madness.
No, I see, like, I've seen a couple of comedians and talk about their kind of come up and stuff, and you're right. But I say it goes with everything though. It's like the work you put in. It's years of work, and you only hear about these people when they're at the end of their road, or you know what I mean, when they're at their peak. So it's definitely true there that, you know, especially for comedians, but I suppose with a lot of different areas of media, you got to put in years of work before you see any sort of fruition. How did you find that transition, Jamie, from making these Facebook videos, to trying different things in comedy and obviously working a lot in media, to content creation in terms of, like, now you have Twitch and now you're doing YouTube? How did you find that transition?
I found it okay for a while, but I feel like I could have been in a much bigger position if I handled things a little bit differently. When the videos that I was doing that were going insanely viral, when they were going viral, a couple of brands got onto me, and I ended up working full time for them. I don't want to name the brands or anything like that, but I was like full-time content creator on their social media, full-time, like, literally control of all their social medias, big enough brands and stuff. And I ended up taking, when I should have been kind of stepping on the gas with my own comedy and my own stuff that was actually doing really well, I ended up taking my one foot off the gas and you know, focusing more on trying to build a brand for somebody else. So I think that kind of you know, put the brakes on things a little bit. Whereas if I could go back, I probably wouldn't take the brand deals, and I'd probably focus more on my own stuff, because it was going so well at the time, you know.
I feel like you know, the timing as well that you would have taken these said deals and worked for said companies, like, content creation was still a baby, barely even a baby at that point. So I feel like if you're involved early on in the process, you'll obviously do well for yourself. So I feel like it's very easy to look back at, like, I'm the same. Like, you know, I only started properly creating content when I was like, well, basically mid-20s, and I was like, man, I wish I was doing this when I was 17, 18, giving it a full whack. But, you know, I feel like the scene right now was at a certain point where creators are actually getting opportunities, and creators are getting looked at from mainstream media and stuff. And of course, Jamie, you see this, and of course Genesis sees it as well, and even myself. With that being said, in the recent podcast, we were obviously chatting to Jake, and we're talking about kind of his mindset, and I feel like me and Jenny both were in agreement, and I know, Jenny, you're going to say something here, is we wanted to go into the area of content creation, because we feel like a lot of creators have a lot to say, Jenny.
Yeah, 100%. Like, it's like, Jay came on, he kind of elaborated on his view And it's kind of good when you get to kind of like younger side of the younger generation, let's
Hmm.
call them. It's good to see what their view is on how we're portraying ourselves, especially the older guys. As we were saying, like you get to a level in Ireland where you finally get to a level of establishment, as in you don't have to be huge, but people know your name or they know your voice or your face when they see it. Obviously, Jamie, you've hit that nail on the fucking head a lot longer before me and Gary
Yeah.
have. And it's definitely like, as I said, it's all about kind of what you do and how you put yourself out there. And I think that made me think twice was when Jake pointed out the fact of the way the younger generation are looking at things, you know what I mean, towards what we would.
Yeah.
It's like, it's amazing to see. Like Jake has his head on his shoulders, so I give him that. Like, you know what I mean? He knows what he wants and he knows the levels of maturity he needs to hit to get to them business levels that most of the other people be at. So for you, Jamie, like when you look at it from your perspective, obviously because you've been around much longer, in terms of like growth in content, do you feel like it's done extremely well, or do you feel like it's getting there, but it's not where it should be
In what sense? Like in Ireland or
in
like
Ireland, yeah, itself, yeah.
um I think it's getting there. It's definitely getting there. We're obviously nowhere near excuse me, nowhere near the scene of like the UK scene or the
Hmm.
USA scene at the moment. And in terms of Jake, I think he's very fucking talented. And I don't know how I would have handled myself at that age on Twitter or on Twitch and stuff like that. And I think it's important for everyone who's a bit older and myself as well, not to come across as gatekeeping, because nobody likes anybody like that. Do you know?
Yeah.
Who's
Yeah.
like,
For sure.
oh, you can't be saying that, you can't be doing that. And that was, I never want to come across as that. And I know I put up a couple of tweets up because I don't like when drama is stored for no reason. Like, I don't like when brands get shit on for no reason. None of that stuff interests me.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
last thing I'd ever do would be come on here and ever put anybody down or a brand down or small streamers down, because we're all humans at the end of the day, and we're all gonna fucking die and be dead forever. So I feel like the little bit of time we have here should be spent trying to fucking have the crack and have a laugh. That's why I'm dressed as a fucking cone right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I don't give a shit. And it took me a long time to get to that point. But, I encourage the likes, and I hope the likes of Jake and other young content creators fucking blow it out of the water. And they have such a good opportunity right now to do it. Because they
Yeah.
are young, and they're gonna attract that younger audience than I could attract, because I'm 31 and my balls are getting lower by the day. So, I've nothing but kind words and good words to say about that. And my thing is, I just don't like unnecessary drama. I don't like people coming in to Twitch channels and being licking your arse and then talking about you in a Discord call to other people, and then
Yeah.
it gets back to you, but they never realize that it got back to you. That happens with so many people. And I'm only a small streamer, and I've experienced with that shit where people are really nice to me, but they're actually talking shite about me behind me back. And it's like, why be like that? I don't sit in Discord calls talking shite about anybody. And there's like a
Yeah.
culture of them doing it while they're
I think
watching it, while they're watching a stream, and they sit in Discord calls pulling apart the person that's trying to just have a stream and having a bit of crack. And that shit, I've no time for that shit. I don't. I know, like in America right now, the drama scene is really fucking big, and it gets views and it gets attention. But I feel like if you're truly talented, you don't need to use drama to get views or to get attention. You can use your creative skills in a much more positive manner that will benefit yourself in the future, because you won't look back at the stuff you've made, which I have done in the past, and completely regretted it.
Yeah.
So that's just my old head with my opinion on
do you
that shit.
do you feel like, so Jamie,
And I'm
obviously,
not talking about anybody in particular here,
no,
by the
no,
way.
no, 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 100%. But obviously, I'd like to get your whole intake on it. So in regards to obviously going back to the Jake tweet itself at the time, and obviously there was some scandal before that he was dealing with, and he came on and explained what happened, and he put himself out on the serving dish and just said, "Listen, this is what it is. Take what you want." But if we're going back to the actual tweet in regards, because I have a feeling. Looking back to that point, I feel like you were pissed off at the fact of like targeting brands. Like as you said, you don't like that shit. So do you feel like that tweet was it was rather like put out in the wrong sense or misconstrued it, or how would you feel about if you
No, I get your question. Maybe it misinterpreted. I can't say that word at the start. But I think we should be encouraging brands to get involved, because like even if you're not a part of the brand, the more brands there, the more brands that are going to start to jump on because they see another brand doing well. Because I know a lot of people, and I've been there myself, feel left out when they don't get to be a part of something. And I'm not talking about Jake, I'm talking about other people.
other
They may
people?
they may feel left out, that, well, how come I didn't get picked? I never get picked for anything. Everyone's against me, and it's like, no, it's sometimes it's just fucking luck, and it's
It
like,
is, yeah, it
I
is.
think,
It's like
sorry, go ahead.
it just sorry to jump in on you, but it's like in relation to where Jake kind of came out and targeted trust until I kind of broke it down bit by bit and explained to him what trust are actually doing. They're not trying to global themselves they know they can't compete against the likes of Logitech and Razer and all right now because it's just physically impossible. These
Yeah.
guys are miles ahead of the game. But I think when I broke it down to Jake and I said, listen, this is what trusts do, this is their way they operate. Do you feel like he took that as in a good sense where he thought, okay, like it gave him a better look on why Irish businesses partner up with these other, we'll not call them smaller businesses, but in a sense towards the bigger brands, they're smaller businesses. But that has to be a starting point, isn't it?
Does have to be. And look, at the end of the day as well, everybody's entitled to their opinion. And if somebody has a different opinion um to it, that's okay too. But
Yeah.
you have to expect other people to have different opinions too when you have a different opinion. But I thought Jake handled the interview last week brilliantly. I really did. I was delighted how well he handled it last week. Yeah, he said some certain stuff that, but yeah, no, I looked at it and I thought, fair play. He's listening to you guys, and he's able to form his own opinions as well. He's an adult. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's not like I didn't come on here to talk about Jake or anything like that. I hope he does well. And I yeah, that's really it. But I don't have any negative comments to say
Oh yeah,
about how he
100%.
says anything.
It's more so the only reason I'm asking is because, as I said, you were one of the first guys on the scene to kind of come around that.
Yeah, but
So
I'm
when
not a
no, but when
fucking template to look at.
but
Don't
Jake
you
looks, that's
don't
the thing, Jake looks up to you. So that just shows the level. You
it's
may
true,
not
yeah.
think yourself, so you may think to yourself like, and you're not giving yourself enough credit or putting a big head on yourself, as to say, right? But you have to look at it no matter, regardless of whether we say this and that. Jake still has stated that he looks up to you for his YouTube content at that time of what you were doing. And if you want to be like, if you want to look at it, there is some similarities to what he's took from what you've done and created himself. So at the end of the day, like I do think you need to give yourself a pat on the back more often, like, because you may not see it, you don't give yourself enough credit, but you are a beacon when you look back at where it kind of all started from,
Yeah.
in a sense.
No, I appreciate you saying that, and I was stunned when Jake said that last week as well. I didn't even, that never even crossed my mind. But
Yeah.
like, I'm definitely not a template to look at. I made a few bob a couple of years ago, and it was great. But I'm fucking struggling right now. Like, I'm not a template to look at in any way, shape, or
It's
form.
not just that though, man. Like
It's
you're
about the money. That's what
yeah,
it's all about the money
yeah.
aspect of it.
It's about your creative mindset. I know Jenny's gonna say the same thing. It's your creative mindset, and it's the way you do things, and you do things differently. It's very easy to fall into the mold of doing things like everybody else does them, but you're one of these people, and I always quote it as well. I'm the same. I'll always be like, look, Jamie's always doing something different. He's always thinking outside the box. He's always doing something mad, or you're thinking of different projects that no one else hasn't thought of.
Done.
Yeah, exactly. So I feel like you gotta give yourself credit where credit's due, man. And obviously, Jamie, I know you as a close mate, and I tell you this all the time, man. So I feel like it's something you definitely need to take on board. Is whether you realize it or not, you're the person that, like, for me, for my generation at least, I look back at and I'm like, man, Jamie made a career very early in content creation. He made the scene very early. Your face was known well before the term content creator was a thing. So you are going to get looked at by people. Do you understand that, man? Like, you were around before content creation was essentially a thing, bro. Which is fucking not a lot of people can say that. Like, you made it.
It's nice that you both yous are saying that, and that other people have said it, like Jake and other people in the chat as well. And I appreciate I appreciate the support in the chat as well, saying some really nice things. I can see it. I appreciate that, but I feel like when others talk about me like that, like other people think, oh, that Jamie fella's up his own arse, he thinks he's great. When in reality, I never say anything like that. Like, I always put myself down. I say on stream that, you know, oh, I'm trying to create original content. I'm trying to do stuff that nobody else has done. And that's what I am trying to do. But I never talk about myself like that, and I don't see myself like that. And Garrett, I know you know, because we've had chats about it, like that I don't. So I love hearing it, and it's great that you guys hear it, but it's not a way I think about myself at all.
Well, here's my question to you. Sorry to interrupt here, but here's my deal right now, because I'm a person where I feel like I'm very sure of myself. I know what I'm like. I know my pros and my cons, and I accept them, and that's me. But with you, I feel like you have a negative perspective of yourself. And I know you mentioned just previously about, you're saying that, you know, you be streaming and you feel like you've some people who you met previously who may have a negative word to say about you, and it kind of comes back to you and around that way. And it definitely, if that happens to you, I understand exactly why you'd be doubting yourself, because you're in a scenario where your peers are the people who are questioning you. Where do you feel like that comes from? Do you feel like that's a part of just Irish content creation, that people are negative, or do you just feel like it's just a bad situation you've gotten yourself into once or twice?
It's a very small element. It's a very small element, but I don't think they realize the impact they have on people when they do stuff like that, when they sit in Discord calls and they take the piss out of somebody, and they bot people's channels, and they get their mate to come in and say something mad so that the rest of everybody in their Discord call will laugh and go, oh, look at that. Stuff like that. It's a very small element. You know, and then there's people who pretend to be your friend. That's the thing I hate the most, is people who pretend to be your mate. Not hate, sorry, that's a strong word. I dislike the most is people who pretend to be your mate to kind of get into your community and try to kind of, it's so fucking weird that they try to like coerce people to their channel when they actually don't even like it whatsoever. They don't like it at all.
That's the thing though, man.
That's what I struggled with when I started on Twitch, and I was saying it to you. I was like, what the fuck? But that's a very small element. The majority of people on Twitch and streamers and people like that are fucking brilliant, and they're supportive, and they you know, they throw you raids, and they're you know, they're nothing but nice, and that's the majority people. I'm talking about a very small element that happens, but what I'm saying is that little small element has a big impact, because I would never go into somebody's stream that I didn't like or that I didn't enjoy just to try and pretend to be their friend so that I can get more viewers on my channel. That's fucking.
That brings me back to the point I made last week as well, though, and the week before, is where I got into complete depth about it. It was where I kind of came across probably a lot more angrier than I should have, but it was being honest. It was like, I said it about lazy fucking people, lazy content creators that aren't willing to graft and do it from the scratch the way it should be done. So they use and abuse the system and people, and fucking they have no regards, no fucks given once they benefit from it. And this is why I said to Garen, and I said it straight, there's only a handful of Irish content creators that I'd even bother working with because of the lack of effort and just cunts in the scene. Like, I say it how it is. There's so many cunts out there. It's shocking. It's shocking.
See, here's my kind of deal with it, is that now, this is what I'm saying right now. It's literally facts, and I know it's shit to say out loud, but it is true. Is that a very common technique of getting out there and getting your name seen, and a lot of creators have done this and done it successfully, is by linking up to bigger streamers and by donating and by doing this and doing that, and then, you know what I mean, starting their own channel and doing this. And it's very common. The likes of Mizkif, a massive streamer, has used that exact kind of strategy, and it's worked for him, and a lot of people do it. So I feel like in every scene that's an impact. So I'm not going to say it's specifically the Irish scene or this and that. I think that's
neither am I.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that's content creation in general, is is a lot of people do that, and I understand it's part of whatever you want, for lack of better words, the grind or whatever you want to call it. But it's very common. But I get what you are saying in terms of kind of deception, and it's not really like real support. So it's I spoke to you about it on numerous occasions, Jamie. It's definitely something that you need to see and separate from your normal.
But you've seen it, Chris. You've seen it yourself. I've seen it. Jamie's seen it. But you've seen it. You see it a lot. You know, people come in, fucking, you know, Billy fucking Simmons comes into your chat, follows you, yeah? He asks you one question. Hey, how are you doing? You're like, I'm great. How are you? So on and so forth. And he's like, I'm good, yeah. Just starting up the stream. Any chance you'd give me a
Man, don't see this is what I love though about my chat, is that my chat knows and my community knows that I have absolutely no bullshit filter. So when somebody says that, they know they're getting railed by me or somebody else in the chat. And I highly encourage anybody who has a community on Twitch to be the exact same, because these people are not going to learn unless you have to like absolutely verbally rail them to be like, lads, you're doing this the complete wrong way. You got to get a grip here. Because it's so common.
It's so easy to tell who's doing that and who isn't. Because there's a lot of streamers who do watch me and are regulars in my channel, and I fucking love them for it.
Yeah.
But it's so easy to tell that, like, we know every streamer knows which ones are there to just, like, you know. But the majority, like, that's what I'm saying. It's a small fraction. Like, yeah. I love the fact that other streamers watch me, and I don't want to sound like, I don't want anybody thinking in the chat, oh, if I go into Jamie's, he's gonna think I'm there for the wrong reason. It's easy to tell. It's easy to tell. They do things and they say things and they talk behind your back, and it gets back to you, because it always fucking gets back. You know, it always does. It always does. So that's. Sorry, I want to move on from it, because that's just
no.
I'll
tell you what.
Yeah. Go on, Jenny.
We move on from it. I'll jump in real quick, right? So I want to break something down because before we close to the hour mark. So I decided there. Well, actually, I kind of decided myself and threw it on Gara last minute, so I'll explain what's actually going on. So basically, what we're going to do as well on the podcast is just to add extra little bits and bobs, you know, freshen it up. We're going to do a new little thing we're going to have over the next 6 weeks, so the next 6 podcasts, because we expect to have a lot of guests over the next few weeks. So what we're going to be doing is called Guess the Player. Now, I'll explain it and what's going down with it. I've obviously a set of 3 questions here. The answer is below the sheet here. This is week 1 of 6, okay? So basically how it's going to go down is I'm going to randomly pick someone from the chat, or let Gara. Actually, we let Jamie pick randomly from the chat, right? Someone, right? We'll do a code word or something. We'll tell him to spam a code word now in a second, and you just randomly pick one off the top of your head, or even pick a number, and that comment number wise we'll go for it. Yeah, all right, perfect. So basically, what's going to happen, guys, is if you get to guess the player who it is, you'll go into a draw. Okay. Now, if you get it right this week, and all the other weeks nobody gets it right, you obviously win the 50 quid. Obviously, we'd like to get 6 in the draw for the last week, and we do a draw, and the winner gets 50 quid. All right, yeah. So basically, that's how it's going to go down. So, Jamie, you can come up with the code word.
I have a number in my head between 1 and 50. The first person to get the number gets to guess.
All right, go ahead, chat. 1 to 50. Guess your numbers.
I'll type it here, Jenny, just so you know I'm being legit. All right.
Yeah.
It's a fun competition. If you're listening on Spotify, obviously you probably missed it. But,
Daz Goes Digital got it.
Oh, Daz
Goes Digital. Jenny, you can confirm that's what I wrote in the Discord.
Yeah, it is indeed. Daz Goes Digital coming in with number 17. All right, Daz, give me a JamieJayCar when you're ready to go there.
Here we go. So man, Jenny though, setting up all this, man, literally texted me like 2 minutes before going live. Yeah, I have a competition here, man. I was like, yeah, come on, go ahead with it.
Wait, what? Do I have to answer now? You do indeed, Daz. I'm going to give you 3 questions. Okay, it's guess the player. He is a football player. I'm going to give you 3 questions. Okay, after I've given you the 3 questions, okay, we will give you 60 seconds. We'll give him 60 seconds. I think 60 seconds is fair.
Yep.
Yeah, 60 seconds to answer, Daz. So, all right, here we go. Question number 1. This player was born in France. This player also played for Sevilla. And this player scored his first debut hat-trick against Chaux, which is a team in France, on his debut.
There you go.
Who is the player we are talking about?
All right, 40 seconds left. Chat, if you want to help out, go ahead. 40 seconds. Go, 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 go. Let's see if you can guess the player. Daz, type in locked in after your answer as well, just so we know that's your final answer. So we're not begging you.
Definitely Diego Forlan.
Diego Forlan, he was some legend, to be fair to him. Diego used to be
wasn't he?
banging them in for a living.
Smacking
Alright.
him in top corner.
30 seconds left. Daz, if you do not know, gonna
Type it like this on Google like a cunt.
man's googling like mad. His keyboard's going empty.
French. Sevilla hat-tricks.
All right,
Quick.
I'll give another 10 seconds. Daz, 10. Locked in. Olivier Giroud. Genesis.
He's locked in. Liverpool.
He's locked
And
in.
I can tell you now that someone in chat is right. It might be him.
Who is it?
Oh, dear
The
Lord.
correct answer is
Ben Yedder.
Ben
The correct answer
Yedder.
is Ben Yedder.
But no, listen, round of
I'm
applause.
so sorry,
I'll do a
Daz.
round of applause here now for Daz. Daz, thank you so much for playing. We appreciate it. Thank you. But we're doing that every week for another 5 weeks, Jenny. Am I right saying that? 5 weeks?
5 weeks more to go. So basically what we're going to do, Chris, is because we don't screw people over. The simple fact is, basically, this Daz didn't get this week. Next week, I'll have 2 set of questions, and we'll give 2 chances. So we try and get 6.
Perfect.
And if we go through the whole 6 weeks and nobody's got it right, on that 6th week, okay, if someone can answer 6 football questions correctly, we'll give them the 50 quid.
Oh, okay, that sounds good. All right, so get listening, guys. Podcast every week. You know what time it's at. Get involved. That was a lot of fun. But going back to the topic at hand here.
I need to go for a PP. Is that all right?
Jamie, you go for your PP. Absolutely no
Thanks.
problem.
Cheers.
No bother to yourself there. I think Jenny's gone as well. Left on my own here. Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ, man. On the podcast here with 3 lads, I'm left on my own. I love this timing now. It's fair. Listen, good luck to Jamie going for a pee and that bleeding traffic coming outfit. I've seen a lot of comments in chat. I'm going to quote somebody because I want to go back to the topic of content creation. Jenny, I know you're here now. I was chatting to Gibson Cass earlier on, and he had such a good mindset of content creation, and he made such a good point to me. He said that, you know, for a lot of these Irish creators, they don't usually gain this mindset until they're in the like mid to late 20s or plus. And I feel like it's so true. I feel like life experiences kind of change our mindset and stuff. And Gibson Cass said this in chat. He says, I don't like putting anyone down. We should be rising together. There's not many of us, and if one succeeds, helps everybody in the scene. Be glad you help someone on their journey rather than jealous of where they're at. And I feel like it's a big point, and I'm going to even once again quote Gibson. Is he was talking about me recently. Obviously, I made the whole deal with Norwich over the past week, and you know, it's bringing over more UK people to the Irish scene, because obviously I'm heavily involved in it now, and you got to look at it in a positive way. I feel like a lot of people look at success, especially Irish people, and they're very negative about it, and they see someone else doing well and they're like, oh yeah, you know, that's them, yada yada yada. But yeah, I feel like I'm not saying you should support every single person, I'm not saying that at all, but I feel like it's very easy to drop into a negative mindset. But if you have that positive mindset, not only do you influence the scene around you, but you just become kind of a better part of that economy.
Yeah, 100%. Like, so if you look at what you've just done with the whole Norwich deal and stuff, is huge for Irish content creation in itself, not just for yourself, but to see someone doing that should not affect people as in a bad mindset. They should look at it and be like, holy fuck, you know, this guy's after doing that, you know what I mean? I this is something I can strive to do. And I definitely feel Gibson is right. Like, it's all about supporting the next person. Do you know what I mean? Like, and being happy for them. Because if you're not, and you're pulling that person down or trying your best to end this chap in a sense of, like, you know, getting your friends, as Jamie was saying about Discord calls, and just trying to kill his vibe and his energy, you know what I mean? That can have a big toll, because at the end of the day, I always said it, to be in this content creation game, you have to be thick-skinned.
Yeah,
Because
it's so
you
true.
you cannot come in here and expect everyone to like you. It's never going to happen. But the funny thing about it is that, like, you actually have more people that hate you, that watch you, than you do people that like you. So
Scary. I want them
it's
to like me.
yeah, it is
It's
generally
true.
true. Like
No,
it
Oh
is true.
no.
You know,
Jenny,
like
it is, and I'm gonna go back to Jamie with this because Jenny, that's so true. But my question for you is Jamie, you're an interesting one to me because I know, like, I definitely call myself very level-headed and emotionally, like, right in the spot. Like, I don't experience anxiety or depression. I'm very blessed in that sense. I'm very much just logical and kind of by the board. But I just feel like you have such a portfolio of stuff behind you, and like even to the likes of me, man, you're an inspiration for content and ideas. I just don't know how you don't see yourself in a higher standard, and I don't know if it's satirical the way you're going about yourself or whatever, but man, if I was you, I don't know, man, I'd see myself in a much higher light because what you've done not only for content creation but just for Irish comedy in general has to be noted, man.
Yeah, maybe it's maybe it's just
Yeah.
maybe it's just a little funk I'm in the last couple of months, you know, because there are times where I feel super confident in what I'm doing. Maybe it's just a little funk that I'm in, probably. You know, that's probably what it is. But you know, I do believe in myself. I do believe I can achieve um whatever I put my mind to. I really do.
Yeah.
It's just about getting to that place. And you know, I know we had a call off off stream about it, and you were saying, like, you were talking about how consistency is key and discipline and stuff like that, and it really is. And I'm just trying to get to a place where I can do that, you know. And then I'll feel a bit more confident in my abilities and in what I've done, and stuff like that. And I feel like going back to the Norwich thing there, like that's unbelievable what you've done, and the opportunity you're gonna get, regardless of how it works out. And I hope it works out fantastically. But just to get the opportunity in the first place is brilliant. And
I appreciate
anybody
that, man.
anybody who sits there and judges you and say, how did he get that, or he doesn't, you know, try and think they try and think of reasons why you shouldn't. They need to remember the reasons why you should, because you sit there for the last 2 or 3 years streaming every single day of your life for hours, and you only take days off to see your girlfriend or to do something with the family, which is still even very rare. And I'm not just saying that to you because you're my mate in real life. I'm saying it to you because I'd say that about anybody, any streamer who got that opportunity and who has been streaming so consistently for the last 2 or 3 years. And I think people who, if there is a little element of people throwing a bit of shade or having a little sneaky comment behind your back about it, they're failing to realize that the 2 or 3 years of work you've put in before you've got that opportunity. So congratulations to you, and I wish you nothing the best with it. And it'd be the same for anybody else that I'd say that, not just you. It'd be the same for Jen when he has future opportunities or he's doing something fantastic.
as I stay out of prison is the main thing.
but no, honestly, I really
Well,
appreciate.
I mean that, and
Thank
it's
you,
not
man.
just because I'm licking your arse, or because people probably like, look at him licking Gar's arse. It's not because of that. If it was anybody else, I'd say the exact same thing. Even if I didn't like them, I'd say the exact same thing, because I appreciate somebody who puts the fucking effort in, because I can't have that level of discipline at the moment, and I know how hard it is to do that. And so many life events that are happening that you could go to, or that you've had opportunities to go to parties, or to, you know, let off some steam for a couple of days, or go on a holiday, or do this, that you've turned down, and it's paying off for you. And that's, you know, I don't see any logic in anybody who would you know, look down on that. And I don't think there is many people looking down, and I think most people see it as a great thing, to be honest. So.
Yeah, no, and I appreciate that, man. Like the response to the whole 1J Esports and Norwich thing has been absolutely incredible. I'm not gonna lie, everybody's been super nice. Even the messages I received in the DM has been like people congratulating me and stuff. It's incredible, and I really appreciate it. But at the end of the day, I'm a firm fucking believer in, like, you put in the work, you'll get what you deserve. And I'm not saying I deserve this, because this is definitely a bit beyond my boat, not gonna lie. But you put in the work at the end of the day, and you graft. And when I say grind and graft, I don't mean, I feel like with content creation, it's such a standard term of somebody who's doing the same shit day in, day out, but they're not changing it. You're a great example, Jamie, of somebody who I consider who's putting in the graft, but you're not just like doing the same shit. You're innovative. You're thinking of different projects. You're moving on different levels.
I ironed the other day on stream.
That's what I'm saying. You did a stream where you were literally ironing with a smoke machine in the background, man, and you were going fucking hell for leather on your jocks, man. And I was like, man, like, I wouldn't have thought of that, but it's actually a gas idea because people are going to tune in.
It's not. It's a fucking joke.
It's an unreal idea, man. No, I don't know anybody else bar you. Like, nobody that's ironed their jocks on stream and ironed their pants and their t-shirts. I know nobody else. You're the only person I know, and that's an absolute massive thing. So
I love how you're getting signed for Norwich and I'm ironing me boxers on stream with a smoke machine behind me.
but no,
it's great, isn't it? It's great.
You know what I mean, though. But Jenny, I know you understand as well, because I've had many chats with you. But hard work at the end of the day pays off, and like, I feel like it's very easy to kind of, going back to some of the comments I've seen online, it's very easy to be a content creator and be like, oh, the IrishGenesis and this and that. But at the end of the day, man, the likes of Jacksepticeye, Terrorizer, whoever, they've worked, they've worked for what they've gotten, and they've worked for it, and they've taken the opportunities, and they're doing well. And
100%.
that's where it comes from.
It, like, the way I look at it is obviously, like, so, like, with you and the Norwich deal, like, that's insane. Like, I'd never get a Norwich deal, you know what I mean? I'd be definitely, like, shooting up the likes of Millwall, West Ham, you know what I mean? 'Cause, I think, you know, they're looking for a different style, you know? So, you know.
I got balls. I'm the balls.
So, but no, honestly, it's great to see. It really, really is. And it's about time, because I've said it for a long time now, like, that I think you deserve a lot more than you had been getting, like, credit wise or deals or, you know, just opportunities in a sense. And
Appreciate that, man.
it finally came true, so I'm fucking delighted on that end. It's like, it's crazy to see though, because it's kind of like you're gelling, well, not gelling, you're killing two birds with one stone, so to speak. Because you have now showed that an Irish person in the Irish scene, so you have the Irish people backing you and seeing you doing this deal, but it's also the fact that you now have UK people noticing you as well, if they didn't already. Do you know what I mean? You've literally gelled two together, and yeah, like, and Liverpool still betches 2-1, but
for God's sake, I was watching live on stream and I was like, man, if Norwich win, I will literally be tweeting out as the look of the Irish signing. I will literally be the guy. So I was like, man, fingers crossed, this is going to be a social media absolute unreal campaign. But no, it didn't come to fruition.
No, I think the opportunities.
No, now are City gone? They're gone.
No. City are still the team, but I like two cities now. That's the thing.
You're gone, man. You're gone.
He signs for Norwich and he's in the he's in the VIP box, screaming after they're battering him.
Calm down, boys. Calm down with it. But no, listen. No, honestly, I appreciate all the kind comments, but like, at the end of the day, I just want people to know that, like, if anybody's looking at me getting this deal, whether it's positive or negative, just to realize that hard work pays off, no matter what you do in life, whether it's media, whether it's your work or whatever. If you treat anything like a full-time job, you will get results. I cannot state that enough, man. Anybody that knows me,
a boring bastard.
Yeah, well, listen, if you're a boring bastard, it's a different story, right? But no, listen. If you treat anything like a full-time job, you will pick up skills and you will see fruition. But it's putting in that effort is the big thing, and that's what I always emphasize: is schedule and repetition and putting your
show. Like, you're what, 4 years in this game now?
Yeah, four, yeah.
4 years. So it, like, there you go, 4 years of hard work and ethic, good work ethic, good scheduling, you know, presenting yourself in the correct manner and just putting your head down and focusing. And it shows when you do dedicate. It's not going to be handled, like, this is where we jump back to, it won't be handed to you in the first fucking few months. You know, these things take time. And it can only go up from here with you now. Do you know what I mean? Just your opportunities and going forward with Lad Nation then coming into play. You've so much coming towards you at one time. It can only get better. There's no, you know what I mean? It's all up to you now to say, this is what I want and this is how it's gonna go, and just put your head down and you will get there, like, you know. For
sure, man. And I'm actually gonna flip that, and I'm gonna say, obviously I was named absolute filth for like 3 years, actually 3 years to be precise, and I only switched up to the TheGaraShow, and ever since then I wanted to be professional and I wanted to give myself opportunities, which is why I changed that name. And I put in a year of absolute hard work, a year of just fucking going for a hell for leather, sacrificing as much as I can, and now I'm seeing fruition from it a year later. So it's what I'm saying. If anybody wants to be a content creator, you got to have your passion there. And here's the deal with content creation, just on the real. Before I get back to Jamie, and obviously, and all his stuff is, with content creation, if you want it, you'll put your life behind it, and that's how it is. There's no, like, if you want to be a content creator and you have a lot of stuff else going on in your life, it's going to be very hard to juggle. If you want to really maximize your outreach, whether it's through TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, whatever, you got to put your all into it. I've sacrificed a lot to get where I am today, and I'm not even halfway near of where I want to be. I'm blessed to be where I am, but I have big goals and I'm really optimistic. So you got to put everything into it, and if you do that, that's when you're going to see fruition from it. But anyways, I'm gonna move away from me because it's about Jamie.
You better not forget about me and Jen now. If you do,
would you stop? Never.
You know.
But listen,
make sure you remember this moment.
I get a phone
Somebody
call.
clip this. Somebody clip this. Sorry, Jen. Go ahead.
I get a phone call. Yeah, Jen. So, how are you getting on podcast? Are you on 99% rights there now?
No. But now listen, Jamie, what I want to ask you right now is, for anybody looking at you right now, and even I want to pick up from this information, it's something that I've never asked you, is you've been at it from the forefront, not even from the birth of like Twitch and Twitter and content creation. You've been at it way before then, the likes of Facebook videos, which were well before their time in terms of like being like, let's say, the content creator role. What do you feel Irish creators need to do right now? So that's me included, that's anybody in the Irish scene, to get opportunities like you have. Because I know you've mentioned you've worked with certain brands and you've done certain bits, but that's things that content creators look for. What advice would you give them to get those opportunities and to create chances like that in their content creation career to actually like get involved with different brands?
Yeah, like I feel like I'm kind of at a similar stage to Genesis, where I don't really give a fuck anymore. So I can say whatever the fuck I want because I don't care anymore about brand deals. I'm working for myself. I have my own podcast on the go. I do videography. I do editing on the side. I do other stuff. So, if brands are willing to get on board, and like the Gamer Store and stuff, and other brands are willing to get on board, I'm happy to do so. But I won't do it on I won't do it on terms of me not being able to be me anymore, But I'd say if you're a young creator and you want to make fucking millions, I'm talking you want to make serious money, and it's possible right now because we're at a window for the first time ever in history, in time, where if you have a camera and a microphone and creative ideas, you can become a millionaire. That's all you need.
Yeah.
So my one piece of advice, and definitely on content that I've made over the years that I wish I didn't, would be to be very careful about how you portray yourself, what you say, because in this day and age, you say one fucking wrong thing and you're not getting any brand deals for the rest of your life. So my one piece of advice that I wish somebody would have said to me when I was a young fucking pup would be, be careful how you present yourself. Even if you're 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, don't just say I'm young, I can say what the fuck I want, because that stuff gets pulled back up right now. And, you see it with the biggest creators of all time, like with the Joe Rogan with the most successful podcast. They're fucking going for him. Everybody, so just be very aware how you carry yourself, because it's a different climate to what it was when I started. When I started, you could make a joke, Sally. You could make a joke. But nowadays, you can't. Certain jokes you can't say, and certain things you can't do, and you might get away with it for a while, for a year or two. But if you want to really take the content creation seriously, and you specifically want brand deals and opportunities on TV and opportunities maybe in future. I think streaming will be TV, because who wants to watch television when you can watch streams and actually interact with the person on the screen in some way. So my advice there would be just be very aware of how you present yourself. It doesn't mean you have to censor yourself, and if you don't care about brand deals, say what the fuck you want. Do you know what I mean? Do portray yourself and whatever. But I'm just saying, if anybody's taking it seriously and they are looking to get brand deals and they are looking to, to get fucking, Pepsi to sponsor them and make millions, then just be very aware of how you portray yourself. You can still have a laugh, you can still make some jokes, you can still be funny and have to crack and do shit, but that'd be my main piece. And also would be, if anybody's listening to this right now or watching, if you're thinking about it, go for it right now, because it's a perfect window of time, especially in Ireland. There's absolute huge UK streamers. There's huge American streamers and YouTubers. There's not nearly as many huge Irish ones as there is UK and USA. So now's the perfect window. If you're sitting here and you're listening to this going, do you know what, I actually feel like I can do it, fucking go for it, and do what you did, Gara, and go for it every day if you have the time. If you don't have kids, if you don't have a wife, if you don't have other duties, you have the time now to put into it, and go for it. So yeah, that'd be my two little pieces. Other than that, as well, just be yourself as well. Just be yourself. There's so many people I see trying to be other streamers, and it's not them, and it just looks odd. And they spend 2 or 3 years streaming, and they can't fathom why they're not getting viewers, and it's because the audience can recognize that they're trying to be somebody that they're not, and people can recognize that really fucking easily. Like people recognize that shit really easily. We've all been in streams where you're like, why is this person being so fake? And it's just, and I think that's, the appeal that yourself and especially Jen, like the being so genuine definitely gets you. People respect you. People respect the honesty and the genuineness, and I think that's where Jen has really excelled, and yourself as well. Gareth,
no, I feel like that's really good advice across the board. I'm gonna quickly coach Jake before I get back to Jenny here, but with Jake, even when he when he came on, he was
Sorry, I distracted you. Sorry.
Yes. No, but
yeah.
I'm off topic now. Jesus Christ. No, but what I was gonna say was, it's very easy to get kind of caught up in looking at other streamers and kind of seeing how they portray themselves on stream, and even with the likes of Jake, I know he wanted to create a less toxic community, but he just kind of felt it in the rhythm of it, you know what I mean? And not that it was a character or whatever he was playing, but it's something that, like, the more real you are, I feel like your community is going to benefit from. And I've got messages myself about how I deal with my chat and how people appreciate it, and I'm sure Genesis, you're the same, that people love watching you because of how real you are and how honest you are with people, and it can really benefit you across the board, and it can really help you kind of, I don't know, I'm not going to say that everybody should be completely 100% real with their chat in terms of what you do, Jenny, or I do, Jenny, but
there's two approaches, isn't there? Like,
yeah,
just different ways of looking at it. 100%. Like for me, obviously my community know that I'm going to be straight with them regardless of whatever the topic is. I'm as straight as it gets, you know what I mean? I'll tell them how I feel about something or what I think about it, but I wouldn't hold back. But then, as Jamie was saying as well, he's on that path now where he doesn't give a fuck anymore as well. But that's like, you know, you got to understand, you got to look at me and Jamie age-wise as well, you know? We're at a point now where, you know, our youth is we're past that youth sector, and now we're at a point now where we're like, you know what, fuck it, we're just going to have fun with this, be ourselves, see where it goes, you know? But as I said, if you're looking to take a different approach to it, so it depends on what your track is on your content. What do you want to do with your content? Who do you want to put your content forward to before anything else? Yeah,
exactly. And like Jamie said, how you hold yourself definitely defines what your content is. It's very easy to look back on past videos and to make a statement about somebody when, you know, like, here's the deal, like to kind of summarize what Jamie said, you know, when you're young, like if you're making videos when you're 16, 17, 18, you're going to be making content realistically that you're not going to agree with when you're in your mid-20s, and that's just facts. When you grow older, you're going to be like, man, why was I making this sort of shit? And it's why everybody feels like, it's why most content creators who have been in the scene for a fair number of years, they look back at their old content and be like, man, what the fuck was I doing? But it's like a learning curve at the end of the day. It's like a learning process of.
That's a very good point though, because I was saying this to Jamie earlier, like about this time last year, I was an absolute cunt, like a cunt, and I just had no filter, you know, and I didn't give a fuck. And I was not a nice person to be around. I wasn't a good content creator back then at all, you know. So like, I'm not saying like, you know, sometimes it is good to take a step back. I took a step back, I took some time off, and I reevaluated myself and thought to myself, like, I was getting on a wrong track. And as Jamie was saying earlier, what he suffered with, and he used to do panic attacks and stuff. Like, I always said it, and I was never ashamed to say that I suffered severely with anti-depression. I still do, you know, and I'm on the tablets and the whole job still to this day. But it doesn't define me as a person. It's just a simple fact that I have dealt with shit. I have dealt with shit in different ways as a different personality or a different character through my stages of life. But I'm finally at a point where I've accepted that I'm not the same as everyone else, you know? I'm just a different guy. But there's one thing that, like, that's the thing for me, is like, this is why I've done so many different fucking 24 hours or subathons off for mental health and all this shit, because I know the main factor of what the fuck is going on. And that's when I had a big discussion with you. I don't even think it was on the podcast, it might have been, but when I got in depth with you, Garrett, and I said I despise people who use mental health as a way out and throw it about, because I know when I'm talking to someone, I can tell you if you're a bullshitter or you're not straight off the bat about it. You know what I mean? Because I've experienced the highs, the lows, and the point of fuck everything, you know? So as I said, like, you can change yourself around. I changed myself around for the better, because if this was this time last year, you would, and I know you don't lie to me, because I know you would never work with me in a million fucking years because of the way I was. Yeah, because of the way I was. It's true. But you yourself and so many other people in the community have seen me grow and develop and turn into an actual stable, fucking honest human being, but still have that little flair about me where if I don't
100%. No,
I come at it.
I agree with that. I feel like you're one of these people, Jenny, who obviously I've talked to you for I don't know how many years. But I feel like
half, I think.
Yeah, a long time I've known you, man. But yeah, definitely in the past couple of months, you've come into your own, where it's like you have like your content isn't like mad explicit, where like I feel like, oh man, this lad's like a liability. I feel like you're yourself, but you're yourself to a level where you understand your limits, and that's what makes you so fun though to work with on the podcast, because I feel like you're so real and you're so like you're as real as it gets. So when somebody says something, and you're gonna be the guy to call them up and be like, hold on a fucking minute. But that's what makes it so good at the same time. Do you know what I mean? Because you're that guy, and I wouldn't change it for the world, man. But you've refined your character.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like that's so cool to hear, Jen. Like that brings honestly a smile to my face that you're able to do that. And a great point that Andy Shield made in the comments there was, I think as you get older, the content will change, but doesn't mean you can't do it. But starting younger people get to see your journey as you change, but anyone could hop on the scene at any time. And what I like about that comment is I believe in second chances. I believe in third chances. I believe in fourth chances. I believe in fifth chances. Not one of us as human beings living on this ball, this absolute big fucking ball in the middle of eternity that we can't explain what even eternity is, never mind fathom it in our mindsets. None of it makes sense anyway. Like existence and life doesn't make sense anyway. So I'm all for second, third, fourth chances. And the more we promote anti-fucking cancel culture for saying a joke 5 years ago that you probably wouldn't make today, or sending a message 7 years ago that you probably wouldn't send now. All that, anybody who pulls that up and looks for that shit and gets on people's back about that sickens me to the fucking core of my stomach, because We all make
100%.
mistakes. We all say things we shouldn't have said. We all react to situations that in a way that we wish we didn't when you look back on your life. And anybody who says that they haven't done that in their whole life is lying. And it's people that have done worse things in their lifetime, but they don't. It's not in the public, that are the first person to jump on anybody when they make a mistake, and it's fucking sickening. And you see it all over the place. And it started off in America. It's made its way over here now. You see it with the likes of the two Johnnies and shit like that.
Yeah,
and it's
crazy.
It's beyond the joke now. And I hope society can turn it around and stop judging people and stop like getting a perception of you in your head of somebody by something they said 5 years ago, or a joke they made that they didn't actually mean, or a situation that they had in their life that they wish didn't happen, and judging them on that one situation rather than judging them on the whole fucking person that they are, because we're very complex people. Everybody has good and bad sides. We all have flaws, and it's so important to remember that before you tweet that tweet out about somebody that you didn't like what they said, or it's so important. Yes, people should be held accountable for when they do make mistakes, but they should be able to get on with their lives and continue to work in fucking Tesco, or to work as a Twitch streamer, or to fucking be a mechanic, instead of trying to ruin their whole lives, which has, and unfortunately too many times has led to suicide from people, because they don't get a second chance. They don't get to do anything. So I'm all against that shit, and it's so important. And that even though me and Jen are saying we're at a point now where we don't really care about that shit, it's still nice to have the opportunity going ahead in the future if we do come up with a creative idea, or if we do something like that. Sorry, that's my spiel.
No,
there.
that's a great spiel. No, listen, Jamie, if you're spitting shite, I'd interrupt you, but if you're spitting facts and I don't interrupt you, that's a good thing. So literally, man, it's straight facts. I just feel like it's the culture right now, and it's something that I don't agree with. And I'm like you, man, I'll stand up for anything in terms of bringing up like shite on people in the past. Like everybody here, Jenny and Jamie, you both know, lads, we have different words that we've used when we were kids to talk about people and yada yada, even as peers, to have a joke with our friends that you can't even say anymore because you get cancelled over it. So
I feel like that's the way it's became though. You had to, like, if you're an older guy, and I know I'm only fucking 31 and I'm here, fucking older guy and all, right? But literally, I swear, I feel like I've lived 50 to 60 years, never mind just 31. But if you look back, like when I was a young guy, I used to, right? And I'd never stand there and say I've never said words that would be classed as bad nowadays. 100% I did when I was a young lad. 100%. Used to make jokes, have the crack, a few cans with the boys in the fields, and you come up with some mad shit. Yeah, like, so that's back then though. But as I said, like, I've looked now, and I'm sorry, but like, since technology, because technology wasn't a thing when we were growing up, boys, we were running around with Nokia 3210s and shit, like, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? When I first came onto the internet, it was dial-up, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So for me, when I look back, it's like, and I said it 1,000 times before, I would trade, okay, to go back there for 20 more, 30 more years of my life. And that's the truth. I'd happily go back, because I actually had a childhood. I enjoyed life. I know what it was like to grow up as a kid, to make mistakes, to say shit that you shouldn't say, to throw yourself out into the fucking world.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And nowadays, people are so worried about what the other person's going to think. You're not actually doing what you really want to do. You're not being who you truly are. You're not enjoying life the way you should to the fullest. And it's so true. And this is where the term comes out, touch grass, because literally, I'm sorry, but no one from probably 2010 can tell anyone else to touch grass.
Listen, there's definitely a lot of truth in that, but Jenny, no, I agree with you. I feel like here's the catch-22, being realistic, right? You want to be a content creator, 2022, right? It's completely different from 2016, 2015, 2017, 18, whatever the hell years ago. Right now, if you want to be a content creator, you got to be brand friendly, PG, this and that, start anywhere, and it sucks absolute ballsack because here's the deal. Is that don't get me wrong, like obviously I'm a part of this process, but you're working with brands, you're working with this and you're working with that, and you can't be your real self, as Genesis says, and your real self is a part of your personality. So when you're selling that to your subscribers or your followers or whatever, they obviously want to see that more than not, which is why it makes it difficult right now to be a content creator. Like I know Jamie's talking about bringing up shite from the past, and it's very easy to do that, but what I heavily don't agree with, I know Jamie highlighted, so I'm not going to go on it, is like things that were okay in like 2010, 2015 being brought up now as if like it's the same thing, when, like I already said to you boys, we all spoke completely differently back then than how we do now. We all had different slang, different terms. We can't even talk about cigarettes in the Irish way on stream without being cancelled, so that's how bad it is. So you know what I mean, it's a different realm, but at the end of the day, like if you want to do content creation, at the same time, being on the flip side of it, you know, you got to be inventive, you got to be original, and you got to make something people want to watch. Speaking of, going back to you, Jamie, you've been involved, Jamie, with like a lot of different major projects over the last years, and I've been at some of them. I even have the trophy for poker, in fact. You're one of these people who, if you're on the Irish scene and you don't do this, you're doing it wrong. Is you look up to Jamie in a way of, what's this guy doing next? What's his plan? Because he's ahead of the curve, and that's what you are. So, with that being said, I
appreciate that, man. I appreciate that.
It's just true. I'm not going to talk shite to you. What do you see yourself getting involved in over the next year, and what is JamieJayCar's plan, for 2022?
So, I have so many ideas of things that I want to do like this year that I know already, if I can make them happen, they'll be some of the biggest things to happen on Twitch in Ireland, definitely this year. The one thing that's holding me back is funding. These events that I did last year were all out of my own pocket. I didn't make a cent from them. I lost money from them, but I fucking loved every second of it, and I wouldn't change it. You know, last year I had a couple of grand to play with, and I said, you know what, lockdown's here. I'm gonna spend it doing things that I think are funny, that I think are gonna be a bit of crack.
Yeah.
So that's why I did the poker and the hot tub streams and the fucking. And don't get me wrong, as well as that, the chat on my stream, even though I don't have, you know, a huge average audience, are so supportive and always get behind what I'm doing as well. So they definitely helped with it as well, with the events that we were doing. So going forward, I have a few ideas. Want to do the poker part 2. I'd love for Jen to co-host it, because I loved taking part in his poker thing online, and he was very respectful in the terms of, like, he said to me, I kind of got inspiration from you doing the poker tournament to do this and stuff, and I appreciate him saying that. That was a nice thing to say, and he did it brilliantly. It was so much fun, and I think it deserved loads of viewers on his streams. I know he didn't stream certain things himself, but it was really good crack. I enjoyed it, you know. So I want to do poker in real life, co-hosted by Jen at some stage. I want to do another series, and everybody clip this in case somebody copies me and does it before me, and we can all go mad.
Get ready, clip us.
I want to do a 6-part series called "Don't Come Dine With Me," live on Twitch, and it's 6 to 8, I don't know, Irish streamers who would be up for it. Going live once a week, every week. The streamer, it's basically come dine with me. So, you know, every week the streamer will every week there'll be a different streamer cooking the meal for everybody else, and there'll be cameras in the kitchen that will switch to of them cooking, and cameras at the table where everybody's sitting. Also, the Twitch chat will get to decide who you know, they'll get to vote on out of 10 who had the best night. Do you know what I mean? So there'll be 2 winners at the end of the series. One winner from Twitch chat, who they think was the most entertaining, or who cooked the best meal, or a combination of both. And then the second winner will be the streamer's choice. You know, at the end, where everybody gets a marking out of 10. other than that, I'm continuing on with the One Leg, One Eye podcast, which I feel like um has never been done before in the world, never mind in Ireland. It's a podcast I'm hosting with Richie, who's blind in one eye. I'm obviously missing a leg, and that's not what's original about it. What's original about it is not the fact that I'm missing a leg, or not the fact that Richie's blind in one eye, but it's the interaction between us and the guests. So that's obviously what I'm
100%.
passionate about.
Yeah.
Because we're able to have the crack and slag each other in a way, because we have the disability slagging pass, you know. So
Yeah.
I've loads of other events that I want to keep in my pocket for now, and you know, it's all about whether I can raise the funds somehow to make them happen. And you know, I appreciate anybody who will check them out over this year when you do see announcements, and I appreciate everybody who supported last year and retweeted and applied and stuff like that. And I just want to say as well, if you didn't get into an event last year, or if you don't get into an event this year, it's never personal. I'm always just choosing who I think would be best suited from their form that they fill out, that would be best suited for the event. Because I know a few people were disheartened when they didn't get into certain things that we were doing. It's never personal. It's never a personal agenda for me not to get somebody in.
Yeah.
It's always just who I think is best suited. So yeah, that's my plans for this year, and you know, do some comedy sketches and all that stuff. But yeah, let's see what happens. I might not do anything in the end.
No, that's really cool. I know you chatted to me about that previously, about the whole kind of cooking show. I think it's a really funny idea, and if you get the right guys in at the right locations and you sort out everything, it's an absolute unreal idea for a stream. I don't think anybody's not going to want to watch that. It's absolutely class, and it's why I keep saying it to you, man. It's about your mindset to do these ideas and to actually make them come to fruition. Like, you know, having an idea is great and all, but you're the type of lad who is actually going to do it. So it's why I give you absolutely major props, man, on what you do in this community. Like, I know you're thinking of this now as this is like a JamieJayCar thing, but a lot of people look at this and they're like, man, this is really cool. I should think outside the box. I should do something that's even half as fucking cool as this, man. So so I'm saying, credits due where credits served, man. At the end of the day, like, even saying that out loud deserves respect, because it's an absolute unreal idea. And I see a lot of people in chat as well who are behind that idea, man. I think it's absolutely brilliant.
I love the self promo. Get out of here. Well, I was asked, Rob, all right? Fuck's sake.
But no, it is a really good idea. I think it's class, and I'm looking forward to seeing it. I'm really looking forward to seeing it.
There's some other crazy ones though, Gara, like that. Like, if I can make happen, like that are just beyond anything that you could imagine. Like, I swear to God, man.
Give us some of them. Give us some of them. Go on.
I can't, because they're just. I'm so scared someone will rob the idea. But it's beyond the realm of reality. Like,
that's good. That's good though. That's good. That's what you want to hear though from JamieJayCar. If JamieJayCar said it's beyond reality, you know it's a fucking absolute mad thing.
It's gotta be something insane, yeah.
Yeah. But we'll see. We'll see.
That's
might
the thing.
not happen.
I definitely feel like, and everyone listening as well, like, you gotta understand that for Irish content creation and what Jamie's doing and putting forward here, you have to be understanding in a sense as well, as that when these things are announced, or he has this idea and he puts it out there, don't be afraid to back it and fund them. You know what I mean? Don't be afraid. Like, even a couple of euro from here and there, like, it helps tremendously to get these events going. You know, and at the end of the day, like, Jamie has kids, and you know himself, and you know, and obviously no digs during Jamie, which currently can't work, and you know, so there's so many things there that you know what I mean. So everyone there that supports Jamie or supports me and Gara, like, you know, when if we do set up like a link or something, you know, to fund these ideas, don't be afraid to throw a few pound out of your pocket. You know, don't buy your 6-pack of Coke cans that we give Jamie the 5 quid, you know.
Honestly,
and water.
I agree with Jenny. It's a part of the economy of the kind of Irish content creation scene. I know Jenny does, not Jenny, sorry, Jamie. There's a lot of mad projects, guys. And if you want to go over to a stream, I believe you type in !SOS Save Our Series, you get a link there, and you can help not only with the 32 counties, 32 questions, but you can help out with a lot of different projects. So make sure you head on over to JamieJayCar over on Twitter or Twitter or Twitch or wherever the hell you are, and support, because I mean, the projects he's doing are insane. And
I appreciate it, and that's why like this year I want to do things a little bit differently as well. And you know, I was putting so much pressure on myself to raise the money myself and do it all myself because I felt
yeah,
like it was kind of wrong to ask creators getting involved to kind of pay up or anything like that. Apart from like poker, because you're gambling, you could win.
yeah,
So I'll be looking to try and change the method this year and get people to get involved that are willing to
mm,
help out and have a bit of help out with it, even though it's going to be on my channel, and we give everybody proper shout outs and hope that everybody benefits from it, who does
yeah.
get involved.
No,
But
of
it's not as
course.
if I'm doing it out of like Mother Teresa to get everybody more followers. I'm doing it because it's good fucking crack and I enjoy it. And
Yeah,
those who
yeah,
do get involved, I want to obviously for them to gain more followers from getting involved, But I'm not trying to, you know, I'm not trying to be Mother Teresa about it either. I'm not doing it just to, raise everybody else's level or get more
yeah,
followers. I'm doing it because I enjoy doing it. It's a bit of crack, like the poker we
for
had.
people to watch,
Yeah,
mm,
people get to enjoy the final production, so like by people helping out with these links and all that we'll put forward soon enough, I'd say, for multiple ideas, you've got to understand, you supporting that idea will give you a hell of a night, to when you get to watch and see it unfold after everyone
yeah,
gets involved, you know.
mm.
yeah, and like the crack me, you, and Gara had, Jenny, that night, like at the poker, was unbelievable. I know you at the end were so shocked by that hand, but we all had great crack, and I feel
Yeah,
like
yeah.
maybe there's one or two who'll go, that event was shy, and Jamie was a prick, right? And you're always going to get that, right? I feel like the majority of people who did get involved had a bit of crack, had a bit of fun.
I
That,
really did. And this time I will be fucking staying up in Dublin. Fuck no, I'm on a bus.
Yeah, no
Fucking
bus
going
home.
home. No, no bus home. Like I got the bus
Yeah,
home
that's
fucking 2 a.m. or something, half scuttered out of my
yeah.
head. Fucking
what are you gonna do if the same hand haunts you again?
Oh, imagine Garrett
well,
comes through again.
I just let you know, Norwich will be without their star player for a couple of weeks. He may be hospitalized.
Oh my god almighty. I tell you, Jesus Christ. But yeah, no, here, Jamie, on the real though, on the real, listen, you've you pride yourself by your projects. I feel like that's what gives you so much reputation in the Irish community, because you do so many really cool projects and you put everything into them and you fund them yourself essentially. Which is why it's such a big deal and why it deserves so much.
We're help from the chat as well.
No,
of
course you get help every now and then. Of course. But listen, you spoke to me recently about this year being a big year for you, being essentially like a make or break year.
Yes.
Does that pressure get to you, or
Yes.
does it inspire you to kind of go further with it and to really give it your all?
It's a very good question, I have to say. That's a good question. I think it's a mix of both.
Yeah.
Sometimes I put so much pressure on myself that I don't do anything. That probably sounds
It can
so
happen.
silly.
No, I understand completely. It can happen.
Yeah.
But then sometimes I get this ball of fire in my stomach and I'm up for like 3 days on the computer making graphics and contacting people and emailing people and making, plans and running orders and stuff like that. So it's a mix of both. And
Yeah.
like genuinely, and it's not to be dramatic. If I've said this on the phone to you, Gara, off stream, is I do have 1 or 2 more years of me left in this.
Yeah.
Because if it's not, I've 2 beautiful sons, and they're my reason I do everything. I went to college for them because I wanted to tell them that go to college, and I didn't want to. I knew if I didn't go to college, that if I said that to them, they'd be like, "Well, you didn't." So I went to college for them, and I kind of want to be successful in one avenue in life, whether it's this or YouTube or whatever. And there's so many options for me to explore. Like I like creating documentaries and stuff like that too, and I've made some in the past. And I've a year or two of me, probably a year or two anyway, of me doing this mad Twitch stuff and YouTube videos. And if it doesn't kind of build to a level that I need it to in order to sustain my family, I have to reconsider and try
Yeah.
and you know, approach a different kind of element of media, whether it's documentary maker or becoming a producer or a writer or
Yeah.
something that's more behind the scenes. So yeah, no, that's really the truth of it, you know. That's and it's, you know, if I was in my 20s, I could say I have another 10 years of it, but my kids are getting older and I want to give them the best life they can have. And I want to be able to pay for them going through college, and I want to do whatever human being
100%.
wants to do. So yeah, I have like another year or two of sitting here in a cone suit in my sitting room in front of 3 monitors before I
Yeah.
kind of go, right, Jamie, it's not working.
No. So listen. If there was any statement, guys, that's gonna make you want to support JamieJayCar, that's it right there. It's why I brought it up. You know, Jamie's been in the scene for a long time, and Jamie's doing a lot of these really influential projects that, you know, honestly, if you can help it, guys, it makes more of a difference than you realize, because not only does
That's not why I'm here tonight, though. I'm here to just have the chat
Jamie, shush. Not only does it affect the Jamie and the projects that's going on, but it influences the scene around us. Like, there's so many events that Jamie has done, and I'm like, man, like, I wish I could do something on that level. How well it was done, and done by
your face at the poker event when you see me as the Joker was like, you kept on hugging me and just going, Jamie, you're a fucking legend.
Because it was class. It was unreal, man. Like that's what I'm saying.
Jenny as well.
It's the small things that count, though, man, and it's a big deal. So that's what I'm saying. It's like, if there's any reason, guys, why you should support JamieJayCar, that's it right there, man. He's a guy who's absolutely like influential with the content, and he makes a bigger impact on the scene than even he fucking realizes. And it's why at these events I was hugging the shy out of him, being like, man, this is absolutely unreal, because I don't think he even realizes half the time he's like going through the process. And I'm a firm believer, and because I missed out as well. I've been in this situation where I've had big opportunities and I didn't live in the moment, and that's why I'm a firm believer now. If anybody who's in that scenario, say, man, live in the moment, to fucking enjoy it if you're doing well, because you're not always doing well. So it's like, man, when you get there, fucking enjoy it. And Jamie's been there multiple times, so I want to be the guy to hype him up and support him whenever the fuck I can. So I encourage anybody in the chat, if you want to be involved in any of these projects or even making them come to fruition, support JamieJayCar. He's live on Twitch most days. He has the Twitter as well, guys. You can find him really anywhere. And yeah,
I've loved this. And even the chat, I was a bit worried, you know, with kind of the drama that's been going over like 2 weeks ago or whatever, and you know, everyone's kind of a bit on edge. I was a bit worried about kind of nastiness and stuff. I don't like any of that. But everybody's being so nice in the chat, and you two are just legends. And I think you both should continue to go on with this podcast. You're doing a great job, and what I like about it is like you challenge people's opinions instead of just going with it. So fair fucking play to the both of yous, and I honestly wish he's nothing but success with it. But I think he's on to something big here with this, and you should keep going. That's just my opinion. So fair play to you and Jen. At the end of the day, because you're doing a great job, and you can tell by the chat, some people are waiting for this podcast tonight. So fair fucking play to you, both you, because
that, man.
It's brilliant. And the little balance you have, I kind of like. You know, I like the balance you have. So that's
No, thank you, Jamie. I appreciate it. And I know, honestly, Jenny, me and you have been obviously working on the podcast. I mean, to be honest, Jenny, before we even go back to Jamie, I mean, like, it's been a mad like 6 or 7 episodes. Like, we're still learning it as we go, but it's been going good. Like,
yeah, no, I'm really enjoying it. It's good because we're not just staying on the one kind of idea track. We're mixing it up, you know, coming up with new ideas, new ways we can kind of push it out there further. Obviously, you know, we've took the next step now, and we have the TikTok and all getting done, and Twitter posts are going out more frequently, and you know, we're just trying to make the best of it, and we appreciate every single person who rather comes on the show for like Jamie and Jake and stuff, and more to come. And also obviously to everyone that actually comes in, watches, listens, and supports us and backs us, because at the end of the day, we'll go nowhere without obviously you guys supporting it and pushing us and giving us a chance to do something that I think that can be very, very successful. Really do.
No, 100%. I feel like the road that me and Jenny have taken right now is like highlighting Irish creators and highlighting some of the guys in the scene, and I absolutely love it. Just hearing the conversations. And even for the likes of Jake McBoston and obviously you, Jamie, it's really interesting, and it's really good hearing different mindsets and different opinions on everyone's own experience, because you can't write everyone's own journey. Like, everybody has their own opinions, how they've got to where they've gotten, and this and that. So it's nice to hear it kind of from the source, essentially. With that being said, Jamie, I've one big question for you that I've always wanted to ask you, but I never did. When you started out, what content creators did you look up to? And then I have a follow-up question after that.
It's a good question. Jesus. Okay, so and that one the one-legged rapper song I made.
Yeah.
It wouldn't fly in 2022. Your man, what's the name of the song? I can't even say the name of the song because I'll probably get fucking cancelled in 2 seconds.
What's the artist? I can look it up for you. Run.
I'll type in the Discord. You can play it if you want, but I just found not the lyrics, but how silly it was. I found that's what I kind of tried to replicate with the one-legged rapper. But Jenny, don't read that out. Just search on YouTube and the video will pop up.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the response. You're
sorry,
the keyboard type, but no bother at all. Listen, lads, I still. Oh wow! Oh my God! I know exactly what you're talking about. You're talking about that rapper who makes jokes about women. That's what you're on about, yeah. Your man was all what's bro? Yeah, that song is it MC square equals vagina or something? Is that your man you're on about?
It wasn't the lyrics. It was the look at the video, the way he handles himself, and it was just so
awkward.
satirical.
Yeah.
Satirical and genius. For its time. Obviously, it doesn't fly. The lyrics don't fly. The lyrics,
no.
The lyrics aren't why I respected it. By the way, chat, before you start going in on me here, the lyrics aren't why I respected it. The absurdity and the satire behind it was just, when I seen that as a teenager, I was like, oh my God, that's fucking mad. And how shit the music videos recorded.
No, man, I know exactly. I'm actually loading up here right now. Your man's the song you're talking about, for lack of better words, I believe, is actually called "Show Me Your Genitals."
Yeah.
And it's
Show me your genitals.
Yeah, your genitalia. Man, what a song. I'm not gonna lie, man, I had that literally on my phone growing up, and I was like, man, this guy's absolutely hilarious.
He would have been one.
No. His awkwardness set a tone. I actually agree with that, and it's mad to think about, man, how the source of like Irish content and some of this stuff came from an awkward American fella making a video about like this kind of stuff. It's mad, man.
But he's just one of many. Like I grew up watching Jackass. I loved that. I like that kind of style, slapstick style of humor. I loved them. My favorite part of Jackass was Chris Pontius when he played that song. Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah. Bow, 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 bow. Yeah.
And he just run into like fucking Power City and take off his clothes and be like,
yeah.
I love that. I love the absurd in life.
Yeah.
Anything that was absurd. Dirty Sanchez was a bit too far for him. I'm trying to think of other influences. Growing up as well, I always remember sitting in the sitting room, maybe little fucking baby 6-year-old Jamie, 7-year-old Jamie, sitting, in between me man and dad on the couch in an ill-lit room that was only illuminated by the fucking box of a TV in the corner. And you'd get a packet of crisps and a little bit of Sup on My Waddy if you were lucky on a Friday night. And they'd let you watch the Late Late Show, and people like Brendan O'Carroll would come on, and they'd be so like absurd, because as a child you're just hearing politics and you're hearing people come on and go, yes, Gayborn, that was them, that was fantastic, and we do hope that we can change certain things with the way things are going. And then all of a sudden the accent would change and there'd be this North Dublin mad bastard on the Late Late Show. And I can remember perking up to him and to his humor, and how he like nearly made Gayborn fall off the chair with his absurd comedy that has never been seen before. So there's so many. I know that he's not specifically what you deem as a content creator.
No, I know, I get you. It's an influence, man. That's a fair answer. Jenny, I'm gonna throw it at you. Jenny, who was your influence in terms of content creation?
Oh, Genie, that's a good one. terms of content creation, like when I first started streaming, I was actually watching a lot of smaller people.
Yeah.
So like Gara was one of the first people I actually started watching in
Is
terms
he
of like
actually?
Twitch. Yeah, that's how I started off. Like, and then I became kind of a person in Gara's community, and slowly work my way up with people and getting to know more people, and showing the love every week, week in out. And then I remember Gara raided me one night, and it kind of took off from there.
Holy
And
shit!
yeah, so
Jesus, I didn't know that.
yeah, so that's why I have so much respect and time for Gara, because
Yeah,
like he honestly did kickstart me to where I am now, you know. Well, if I'm to look outside the box, like there's so many people, just
yeah.
so many.
There
Uh,
is, isn't there? In streaming
yeah,
YouTube and in television, that you, yeah,
yeah, yeah. There's so many. Like if I was to go down the road, like I obviously, as I said, like I can't think of anyone else. Like honestly, when I was, because like I never really watched anyone big until I kind of started developing my own platform on Twitch. So obviously, I'm gonna have to give it to Gara for kickstarting my career and being one of the first people that I actually sub to, and kind of
holy
got
shit, that's class.
community.
Yeah,
It's
I mean that's a big compliment, man. I fucking appreciate it.
yeah,
He
it's
makes
very
me
mad.
not want to stream. It's weird.
No, that's a mad thing, and I appreciate it, Jenny. Obviously, I've known you for years, man, and I know
Yeah,
you want to get involved from day one, man. So no, I really appreciate that. But
yeah, it's crazy. It is crazy because
yeah,
I've actually never been really asked like in a particular question. Like people say to me, like when I done the podcast with Jake with Boss, he'd ask me who I looked up to like at that moment or that kind of thing, and I'd always say like the likes of Nick Marks and stuff because they were like the big streamers I first laid eyes on.
yeah,
But I actually didn't start watching big streamers. Like when I first started streaming, I didn't know much about Twitch, didn't know who was on Twitch, and I'd follow everyone like lower tier. Um, and you're kind of first person with a big audience in a sense that I got
yeah,
involved with and learned from everyone. And then the years went on and so on. I see Jake, my boss, saying Rothstein in the chat. So
yeah.
so I can't really say I look up to Rothstein or like he gave me the influence to be a streamer. I just love Rothstein because of, yeah, I like gambling and he's just that guy, you know what I mean? But um yeah, it's kind of crazy. It's kind of
Yeah, no,
crazy.
that's fair. I won't spoil it. I won't spoil it yet. But my next question was Jamie. So that's who you looked up to. But who do you look up to now? Who is the creators now that you look at and you're like, I want to be on their level, or
Um,
I want to do stuff like they're doing? Who do you look up to? Because a lot of people
that
look up
post,
to you. So I feel like,
they really shouldn't though. That postcard is brilliant. Uh, that's a tough one. Like, I don't really. It's it's gonna sound weird to say, but I don't really look up to anybody. Um,
okay.
I enjoy watching Trainwreck's TV stream because I enjoy looking at the gambling. I'm a I love it. I love watching a bit of that now. I enjoy looking at that, but
Yeah,
other than that, like the only really people I kind of watch on Twitch is like two or three, four people that I'd pop in. And the reason for it is not like an egotistical way, but I feel like the more I watch other people, the more I soak up from them and become less myself. So I'm
yeah,
trying
yeah.
to just be myself and not be anybody else or take traits from other people, because I'm a sponge like that. So but there are some fantastic, obviously, Irish streamers doing brilliant things. There's so many that I could name that I wouldn't want to name any of them
No, don't
because
mind
then
them. We're talking about you. Who do you look at and you're like, I want to be on their level, or I want to be doing what they're doing? That's the question.
there's genuinely nobody though, because
Yeah, yeah.
like what you mean, like in terms of like what, like viewers, how many viewers I'd like to
No.
have,
I
or
just mean in general. Like for example, for me, um, like streamers that I'm like, man, they're killing it. I want to be on level they're at. But like so, like Doctor Disrespect, Ninja, even Courage JD. So some streamers who are killing it through their personalities and how they present themselves. So I was just saying, if you had a perspective of you, and if you don't, that's fine. That's absolutely normal, man. It's
yeah, I don't set my targets like that at all. You know,
yeah,
I just kind of want to be me and try and go on my own journey. in a way, and I feel like
Basically, not look at other content creators and be like, I want to be like them. You want to
yeah,
be like you, what
yeah,
you can do.
yeah. That's my own kind of style. Like
I respect that.
Yeah.
not in a sense though that I think I'm even close to their level. I don't, of course not. Jesus Christ, I'm nowhere. I'm like a fucking penny and they're a billion euro. You know what I mean? Like it's, but I just want to do my own thing and see where it goes.
Yeah,
And if
yeah.
it becomes something, I don't want. Yeah, you know, no. No, I don't know, but I respect what all those people have done, and I'm like, oh, that's so fucking cool. Imagine having thousands of people in it. I respect, I love it, but I try not to watch because then I feel like it detracts from me being me on stream.
Yeah.
No, I think that's a fair point. I feel like when you're watching other creators, and I know you mentioned it already, is you can pick up traits from other streamers and traits from other creators that reflect back on you, but then you're not really you in your content. So I know I get what you're saying, Jamie. I feel like it's a fair point, and it's an interesting kind of mindset to come from. Where
Why I'm failing though?
no, it's not at all. Jesus Christ. No, but like for me, like I'm obviously on the opposite side of it. So I give my kind of 2 cents is I look at creators who have absolutely done like big deals and have done bits, and those would be my inspirations, as in not personality wise where I'm like I'm gonna take bits of them and make it me, but where I'm looking at them and like, man, these guys put in the grind, that's who they are. They've gotten to where they are because of their personalities. I need to find a way to get my personality to the front of my content and to kill it. That's how I see it as. I don't see it as like this is the copy and paste format for success, which I know it's very easy to kind of delve into, but
I get you.
Yeah. I just feel like it's nice to look at people who are ahead of you and being like, that's where I want to be, that's my goal, instead of being like,
no, of course I do,
Yeah.
and I do look at the viewers that they're getting and stuff like that, and I do obviously would love to have that eventually, of course, but I don't try and copy anybody's way of getting there, and maybe you should do that, you know, if you want to, you like take copy kind of that way, and I don't think you do either. I know what you're saying, and no, of course, there's loads that I look at. Anybody who's successful, you know, you take little bits from that you'd see, and you're like, oh, Jesus, I'd love to be, you know, I'd love to be up there, but I don't really. As a 31-year-old man, I don't really look up to anybody in that way. That, you know, I just don't, because I want to be either successful or a failure as me, because then I can say, well, I failed as me, not trying to be anybody else. You know, like I failed as me. And I can only be me.
No, of course. With that being said, though, do you feel like your comedy and like your creativity and how you make content, do you feel like that spurs from anywhere, or do you feel like it's just like from your head, whatever comes into your head, you're like, man, that's bleeding gas, let's do that?
Question. That's a very good question. I feel like it probably from. I think Jenny will attest to this more so as well, because you know we spoke and we've had, you know, we've had some stuff happen in life. I feel like it's probably because of the life that I've lived and the situation, being born, missing my right leg, you know, obviously made me adapt and made me, like it molded me into who I am now, you know, because I've lived a different life to, you know, the majority of the human race, missing a leg from birth and having to learn how to walk every 6 months and every year. So that probably made me a little bit more creative, because I always had to find creative ways to do things, you know. And I've always looked at my mom and dad doing creative things to make it, to ensure that I lived a normal life. Like I had a prosthetic leg when I was a kid that my mom used to have to jam a poker down the leg, and my dad would have to hold my chest, and my ma jammed the poker down the prosthetic leg, and she'd also pull the prosthetic leg as well and pull it off, because it was so like tight on me. That's the only way they could get it off. And I've had experiences where, you know, I got a toy tractor for Christmas, and I couldn't pedal it because my right leg was obviously prosthetic and straight, and it was getting in the way of the right pedal, you know, to move it. So I tried to pedal with the left foot, but it was getting cut off the leg. So my dad welded a piece of metal onto the tractor that went like that, that holded my leg out of the way, my prosthetic leg out of the way of the tractor. So maybe, I don't know. I'm just kind of trying to delve into it here. Maybe it was stuff like that that made me a little bit out there, a little bit, you know, a little bit weird, a little bit creative. Maybe it was the kind of life I've lived up until my 20s or whatever, that kind of, because I was always thinking out of the box. And even in school, you know, I had to be the funny chap because I would have got ripped into it if I wasn't. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, and I had to stand up for myself, and I had to be a little bit more mouthy than other people, because if I wasn't, people would pick on you because you're different to them, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a very good question, and I don't know if I'm talking shy or not. I'm just trying to think in my head.
No, you're not, man. It's all personal experience, and it's an absolute incredible insight to listen to what you're saying, man. Because obviously nobody can compare to your own life experiences, which is why at the end of the day you're sharing them, because you know it's an insight to people. It's people like who are looking at this and be like, all right, you know what? If Jamie's done this and done that, maybe I can do it too. And that's the whole kind of goal with this, man.
Exactly, but there's so many different facets to it that there's no really right answer to that. I'm just kind of trying to figure out myself maybe why I'm a little bit off the wall or a bit creative or whatever, and maybe that's the why. I could be fucking wrong, you know. I don't know.
No, I look at that and I see, for me, what I take from that is, no matter what life throws at you and all the negatives, you adapt and use your mind to create situations to make things positive, whether it'd be in a comedian sense, whether it be in just a positive sense, or whether it benefits others. So I definitely feel like growing up, tough life, North Dublin, fucking, obviously one leg, you're like the fucking, finding Nemo of fishes, like, you know what I mean? And you've took all that and you've put it into something good, and I really, really respect the fact that that's what I mean by a beacon. Like, you're an inspiration to others that
truly.
these lazy bastards out there with two legs, you know what I mean, are being outdone by the guy with one leg. So fair fucks to you, Jamie, honestly, mate.
Yeah.
Thanks, lads. I'm gonna call it there, though. I don't know how long this normally goes on for.
No,
I have to head off.
no, of course. I think that's a good ending point. But
thanks for saying that, though, Jen. I appreciate that, man.
No, but for anybody listening to the chat, if you want to get involved, as I said one more time, with the likes of JamieJayCar and the projects that he's going to be doing this year, as I said, it's not only influential to the Irish scene, but just to content creation in general in Ireland. Jamie's doing absolute leaps and bounds here, so if you can't support him, please do whenever you can. JamieJayCar, you can find him on Twitter, you can find him on Twitch, you can find him on Instagram, wherever you can find him.
Yeah, link in the chat, do I not? After spilling me fucking childhood out, what the fuck is this?
Well, the shout out command in chat there. I'm pretty sure it works there. There you go. Yeah, it's in the chat there, guys. Follow JamieJayCar. I give a shit for joking. Shut your mouth. Follow him, lads. Do me a favor, JamieJayCar, lads. He streams most days. Give him a follow. But honestly, that was a great conversation, man. It was really nice to see a different insight, because obviously, with the last podcast we got somebody kind of the youth kind of genre off it. It's nice to see somebody who's been in it before even I was even thinking about content creation to have their mindset on it, man. So no better man than yourself, Jamie. You're an absolute gent, and it was an absolute pleasure.
Thank you. I don't do things by half, and if I was going to come on here, I was going to have a bit of crack and be real as well, because I wanted to just, be real for a change. And I don't normally get to do that on my channel. So thanks so much for hearing me out and having the crack with me. I respect both yous, and I wish yous nothing but success with the rest of this. But I have to go for a pee-pee. I love yous. I'm going to head off. Sorry for the abrupt ending.
No bother, Jamie. Go on. I'll ask you, Jenny. Thank you, Jamie. Last comments, Jenny, about the podcast.
So basically, no, Jamie, full respect to him, the credit due. He is an inspiration, obviously, and with these ideas he's coming forward, there will be links out there, guys, so make sure that you back his stuff that he's going to get involved in. Obviously, I'm going to be involved in a project with Jamie as well, so I'll obviously give you the heads up when we get these links out, and they'll be obviously posted everywhere. But obviously, big respect to him, go support him. He has been through the wars, but he's came out on the good side,
Yeah.
So nothing but credit.
Absolute legend. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us for episode 7 of How We Getting On. We're going to return next week for episode 8. We'll hopefully get another Irish creator on to give their say on the whole subject. But thank you so much for listening, guys. Really appreciate it. And we'll see you again very, very soon. Have a good one, guys.
Take care, boys. Good night.
Good night.